Hi everyone. So it's been a minute since I posted a video, and today I decided to share a dream that I had recently about a solar flare or the sun exploding. I can't really tell which one it is, but it has to do with the sun. So before I begin this dream, I want to preface it with a dream that I had back in February. So the dream that I had back in February is relating to the red sky dream that I had with the UFOs. So essentially, after having that dream, I would go and try to find others that had red sky dreams or even UFO dreams. And the ones that I did find, I made a compilation video, which was my last upload, that I feel relate to my red sky dream, and that the Messiah, he came back. However, when I look at some UFO dreams that people have, a lot of times they'll say that their dreams are depicting fallen angels and that it's this great deception. So for a while there, I was doubting my red sky dream, and essentially I was wondering at one point, did the dream even come from the Most High? And so I went to sleep one night, and this was in February, and I heard an audible voice, and it could only be the Most High. And essentially, he told me that if I want to go to the wedding supper, I can go. But if I doubt, when he comes to get me, he'll leave me behind and I will perish in fire. And he also said that he would give my son another chance at life. Because around that time I was, praying that he'll be resurrected, and we'll have a life together in the Millennium Kingdom. So I thought that was really interesting when he said perish in fire. I didn't really know what to make of it, because the red sky dream, I started thinking that maybe the sky was red because of Nibiru. Some dreams I found, they were saying like they saw Nibiru in the atmosphere, and that's why the sky was red. Now, I didn't see Nibiru, but I was thinking maybe that was a possibility, and maybe fire would come with that. I didn't really know at the time. However, a week ago, and I'll put the exact date on the screen, I had a dream that, well, I knew I was in California towards the end of the dream. But the dream started out, my mother and I, we were traveling on this road. And this road was going up a hill, kind of like winding around where you can see the side of the hill on your left side. So like it's a two-way street, so essentially like cars can go one way and then cars can come the other way, and you can see down the side of the hill to your left. So we're traveling up the side of the hill where there's land to our right, and the opposite direction would be towards the side of the hill going down. And when we were going up the hill, I looked into the sky and saw all these owls. Well, at first it just looked like a bunch of birds. They were swirling, kind of like making a funnel, like a tornado. And I told my mom, I said, hey, do you see that? And she was like, yeah. So we got closer, and when we got up on them, I could see that they were a bunch of owls. And it looked like, it was so many, I would say like a 1,000 owls, a pack of owls just flying in one line, or like in a, how can I describe it? I'm not gonna say they were flying single file, but it was like a bunch of them like clustered together in like a line, if that makes sense. So like a swarm, but in a line. And they looked in distress. That much I could get from the dream. And there was this like orangish, I know now that it's a solar flare, but I didn't know what it was at the time. There was like this orangish stuff that they was like flying through, and now I know that that was flames. But at the time when I was seeing them fly through it, I didn't really know, like, I didn't know what to think. And so after seeing that, the scene shifted, and I was in this apartment. I don't know the people in the dream. I don't know them in real life, but in the dream I knew them. It was a couple, and they had just had a baby. And I was over their house helping them set up their nursery, and helping them wash baby clothes. And I feel that I pretty much had got them set up, like the clothes were in the wash, and so I was heading out. And so as I was leaving out of their apartment building, my mother all of a sudden appeared with me. And I didn't see her earlier when I was in the apartment helping the couple, but she was outside with me in like the courtyard area. And I feel like we were about to leave, or like heading to our car, and I looked up into the sky and I saw a solar flare heading towards us. And I was like, oh, that's what the birds were flying through. I was like, it's fire. And then all of a sudden it came down and engulfed me, and like my vision went black. And so when I saw my vision went black, I knew I died. And all of a sudden I was back where me and my mom were standing in the courtyard heading towards our car. It was like a premonition had just happened. So it was like I saw the solar flare before it had happened. And so when I realized, like, okay, I didn't die, but I saw what was going to happen before, maybe like 20 minutes, I don't really know how much time I had, I told my mom, we have to get out of here. You know, it's dangerous. We got to leave. So her and I, we held hands, and we started running in the opposite direction. And we were running through the different apartment buildings, not inside the apartment buildings, but on the outside, like trying to make sure that like we could use the apartment buildings as like a buffer between us and the solar flare, just in case it came while we were running. The solar flare didn't come yet, but luckily we were able to make it down to the beach. And so at that time when we arrived to the beach, I knew that we were in LA. And there are so many people on the beach. They were just outside relaxing, enjoying themselves. And at this time, I realized how hot it was. It was so hot in the dream. I knew like it was hotter than it normally is. And I'd never been to LA, but in my dream, I just knew it was like not normal how hot it was. But people on the beach didn't really seem to be bothered by it. And I saw this couple on the beach. They had a little boy with them. And I was trying to warn them. As my mom and I were running towards the water, we were trying to get inside the water. I kind of felt like maybe the water could like protect us somehow. And I was telling them like, hey, you guys need to get out of here. You need to run. I was like, there's fire coming from the sky and there's asteroids. And so when I said that, the guy and the girl, they started laughing like, oh, really? Like they basically thought I was nuts. And they looked at their son. They said, hey, what do you think about that? There's fire coming from the sky. And he was like, oh, it's nothing. Like, oh, that's nothing. We don't have to worry about that. And then they bust out laughing. So I was just like, okay, y'all can stay here. I'm about to get in this water. And we just continued running towards the water. And then I woke up. So essentially now I know what the Most High meant when he said, or you'll be left to perish in fire. Essentially, there's going to be either a solar flare or a CME, or I don't really know to what effect. I know that supposedly there's going to be a time period where it's just going to be super dark on the earth, and the new world to come, there's not going to be a sun. So I will put those verses up on the screen as well. I'm not going to say the sun is going to explode, but it makes me wonder. And since having this dream about the solar flare, I did look up other people's dreams like this, solar flare dreams, world being on fire, and essentially it sounds like the sun is going to explode, or stop working to some degree. I don't really know what that's going to look like, but it was absolutely terrifying. Yeah, so if you guys have any thoughts, comments, please do share. And yeah, I'll be back pretty soon, hopefully, to share another dream. Thank you. Bye.